Play for an hour and a half, get paid 80 quid and get a free beer. I got picked to play, support her at the Brighton Dome. Right place, right time, I guess. And then we made Human. Amazing song. I got a lot of interest from record labels. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, do what you want.
He was panicking like hell. I'm just really like, it's not really what you want at that age. It was me, Dan from Bastille, and Skin. And she was like, hi, I'm Deb. And I was like, you hell. All the record labels do the same thing. Now, you don't necessarily need or want a record label. You'll kind of go in with your own ideas and then suddenly you've sung someone else's song. It's all about the people. Goldie,
Ronnie
Shy
Size.
FX, Ronnie Size, people like that. And I couldn't DJ, so I was the latter. I had a hip-hop group that I was involved with called Rum Committee. I've got probably like 5 people that I can sort of call upon to do different things. I can't stand there on stage and sing you a song that I don't know what it's about. 70 plus gigs a year. Keep telling my wife that I'm gonna have some time off, be with my boys. And that's the most important thing for me at the moment. Give me up, 'cause old habits die hard. I don't know the rest.
Rag and Bone Man, Rory, thank you for coming on the show. I'm a huge fan. And I was actually slightly nervous this morning meeting you because I've kind of been, you know, watching you and listening to you since the very beginning, since Human, obviously the big hit when it came out. And I was just sort of thrilled that there was a singer like you coming along. I mean, I've been involved in rock music through my career and I've, you know, been involved in production, etc. And you came along and I just felt it was the start of something new. You were very much a trailblazer with your voice at the time. I mean, even thinking about what's happening now, I think Teddy Swims owes you a drink, you know? You know, maybe even Gregory Porter. Yeah. I mean, he didn't change his voice to be like you, but I think you trailed that whole path that was really helpful for them later on. Did you?
Well, that's nice of you to say. I mean, I think at the time, potentially one of the reasons why it kind of broke through was there maybe wasn't a lot of voices like that on the radio and stuff at the time. You know, that at different periods of time, different voices kind of spike up. Yeah. You know, and it was just right place, right time, I guess.
And you grew up in Lewis. That's kind of where you started out.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have any peers at the time that you were hanging with, or was that later when you went to Brighton?
Well, I grew up in this little village in the middle of nowhere, and I think I had some friends in Brighton, and I just knew that there was a bit more going on there. So in order to kind of meet people and start making music, I couldn't stay where I was. I had to go to Brighton because that's where sort of the people I knew that were going out and playing a lot, and you know, there were open mic nights, kind of various like hip hop and soul nights and stuff like that. So and there wasn't that going on where I lived.
But say before that with your mum and your dad, what were they listening to in the house?
Folk music, lots and lots of folk music.
Like?
Stuff like the Chieftains, Christy Moore.
So Irish music?
A lot of Irish music, some traditional kind of English and Scottish music. There's, Mum listened to a lot of Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, you know, Donovan and stuff like that. It's just, you know, got great music growing up. You know, my dad was heavily into blues, listened to a lot of Muddy Waters and B.B. King and Big Bill Broonzy and stuff like that. So I was very lucky to have like all of this music to play, and I remember just having the room where all the vinyl was kept, and I was allowed to take it out and play it if I wanted to. So
it resonated with you at the time, or did you appreciate it a bit more later?
I think
because you're a kid and you want your own music, you know?
I think with the folk music stuff, because I grew up in it from a really early age, I kind of took it for granted almost, because I would be dragged around pubs all over the place, folk festivals, you know, and being like 8, 9 years old at a folk festival and listen to someone singing a ballad about the mines or whatever is like, it's not really what you want at that age. You know, I probably had my headphones in listening to like Guns N' Roses or something, you know. But like, I appreciate it now. Right. And now I hear the songs and I remember them all from an early age. So like, you know, maybe didn't at the time, but I do now.
I love the Chieftains as well. My dad used to take me to sessions, as he called it, at the time. My dad was a baron player.
Okay.
And I loved it. I mean, I couldn't wait to go, you know, it was like 20 musicians all playing banjos and guitars and barons and penny whistles. And to me, I didn't listen to any pop music till I was 12. I was a bit of a weird kid. And so I absolutely loved it. And it's funny if you talk about the Chieftains, they did an amazing track with Sinead O'Connor. You know, he moves through the fair.
Moves through the fair. It's
Have
amazing.
You heard Sinead O'Connor? Oh,
amazing song.
And her delivery on that
it's insane.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So obviously this is all in your subconscious now. You're listening to it, like going through your young years, because just trying to get a feel of where your voice came from.
Yeah.
And so you moved to Brighton, and then you become an MC.
Yeah. Well, in the little town I grew up in, all of my mates were into jungle music. So the people that we looked up to were like Goldie,
Ronnie
Shy
Size.
FX, Ronnie Size, people like that. And a lot of my mates were like, they wanted to be a DJ or they wanted to be the MC, and I couldn't DJ, so I was the latter.
But how come, what amazed me is that even at that time, were you singing much?
I mean, I did. I think I started to do the DJ MC thing a bit with my friends, and we had little gigs here and there. We put on our own nights and stuff, but it was never really it was never really looking like it was going to be a career.
Right.
But then I played guitar, and I knew a lot of old blues songs, and I learned a lot of covers and stuff like that. So at that time I was doing that, but then to make a bit of money on the side, I would do pub gigs at weekends and stuff. So I'd play local pubs, go play for an hour and a half, get paid 80 quid and get free beer, you know? And then basically through doing that and also doing the DJ MC thing, and I had a hip hop group that I was involved with called Rum Committee, and I sang a little bit with them. Through that, I just started to write bits, you know, I was just starting to write songs. I basically put this one song up on an introducing, a BBC introducing thing, and there was a competition running, and it was Joan Armatrading was looking for people to support her.
Brilliant.
And I put this one song up, this little blues song that I'd made up, and I got picked to support her at the Brighton Dome.
Fantastic. You and your lonesome, just you and the guitar?
Just me and the guitar, yeah.
Fabulous.
And then...
that's a baptism of fire.
Well, I basically, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, do what you want.
Because I was like, I'm going to go play with Joan Armatrading. I've only got one original song.
Right.
And the rest are covers. So like, I knew in a few months' time, I'm going to be supporting her. So I need to put something together so that I've got something to give people. So I had some material that I'd been working on that were kind of like songs that I'd made up over hip-hop beats, that kind of thing. And then a couple of acoustic songs. And it was all quite blues-orientated. So I put it all together, put this Bluestown EP out, got a load of CDs made up. This was still when people were listening to CDs a little bit. So I had something to give people on the day.
Wow. And how did it go?
It went amazing. And actually that Bluestown record, you know, at the time, considering I was fairly unknown.
I think it's a brilliant record, by the way.
It did really well.
You know? I was thinking of the first track, what was it called? I'm trying to remember. I had it in my notes somewhere here. But it just reminded me of Son House.
Yeah.
And like John the Revelator.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you know that tune. Amazing tune. Yeah. And I just thought, it was all of those kind of, like Robert Johnson, B.B. King. You mentioned B.B. King for your dad. I'm thinking, joining up the dots here.
Yeah.
But so it must have been, so that Joan Armatrading show must have been, okay, I can do this.
Well, I got mentioned on the radio, like Radio 2 coverage. And then from then, I kind of like, I did that gig and I was like, this is where I need to be.
Right.
You know, I know that I can write songs. I know that maybe I need to improve my writing and my live performing and stuff like that. But that was like my mindset from then on. And that was like 2011, I think. So yeah, 14 years ago.
So it's a bit of a while then before you put out the second record, which was...
Well, I put out... So basically what happened from then is my friend from school, who I grew up with, we were in a band together at school. I was playing drums in. He called me up and said, I've been producing for a few years. I've just finished an album for this band called Bastille, which was very successful at the time. But he said, I've just finished that. I've got some time. If you want to come up and try and maybe write some songs and we'll put a record together. And I did. And I had this one song that was like a standard called Rubens Train. It's actually like a banjo tune. But we flipped it and we turned all of the guitar parts into vocal parts. So it was all a cappella.
Brilliant.
And we put this song out, did a little video, all very budget. And from that Rubens Train video, from that song coming out, it just started to spread. And like, it got people talking about it, you know. And I got a lot of interest from record labels and stuff. And that's when we were like, we should just make this record. So we made this Wolves EP, which was more like an album really at the time, because it was like 9 or 10 songs.
So this is after Dog and Bones, isn't it?
Yeah. Those were kind of very separate records because they were on a High Focus Records label, and it's very much like soul hip hop. You know, they're all over hip hop beats, featuring different rappers and stuff like that. But the first kind of solo record was Wolves,
and that was on Best Laid Plans, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's on Best Laid Plans. Yeah, and from that, I ended up doing a publishing deal, which gave me enough time to work on material and not have to get a job at the time. You know, not have to carry on working, basically. And then we made Human.
I think a friend of mine actually was on that Bastille record, Skin from Skunk Anansie. I did a record with Skin.
We did a song. We did a song together. It was me, Dan from Bastille, and Skin, and
she's great, man. Deborah's brilliant.
She's amazing. I honestly, I have to say this, probably one of the most starstruck moments I ever had was with Skin, because I idolised that band when I was younger. I remember buying Stush, and I remember buying, is it Paranoid and Sunburn? And those two albums were they were never out of my little Walkman. And I loved it. And I remember the first time I met her, and she was like, "Hi, I'm Deb." And I was like, do you know what I mean? Just that feeling of like, I've loved your music for such a long time, and it means so much to me that like meeting you. I
did a record with her for SAS Rogue Heroes, produced, and a Strangler song, No More Heroes, which she sung, and we became mates after that.
Yeah,
and she was
she's a diamond.
Oh, she's an amazing person. So then you signed to Best Laid Plans, which is obviously Columbia. It's a major label. Was that with Julian Palmer?
It was with Julian Palmer.
Funny enough, he's just left. You know, he's just left Universal.
He has, unfortunately.
He's gone to Universal, the dark side.
Yeah. Well, basically, what happened was, I had the opportunity to sign to a lot of different labels at that time, and this was sort of 2013, 14. And me and Mark had the conversation about just waiting it out a little bit. And we thought, we'll put some music out. So we put that Walls EP out, we put another EP out. And it just like, he was like, oh, if the people are interested, they'll wait around for you, you know, if you're not ready to do a deal right now. And I thought that was actually a really good thing, because it gave us sort of breathing time to keep writing songs. And then I met a few labels, not that many. And my thought process at the time was like, all the record labels do the same thing. But it's all about the people that are in the record labels. And I met Julian Palmer, and I met Stacey Tang, who's now at RCA, and Alison Donald. And I spoke about soul music with Julian for a long time. And, you know, none of the other record labels I met at the time actually talked to me about music. It was all about the business.
Right.
And having someone like Julian that was like, he was my champion guy. He was like, do you know what I mean? Just to have someone like that at your label was amazing. So I'm very, very thankful for him.
So he's been there from the very beginning. So it must be a bit of a shock when now he's gone over to Universal.
It's really weird. It was, to be honest with you, it was quite emotional. He phoned me and he was like, "Oh, you know, I thought I'd just get you on the phone to tell you myself that I'm leaving Columbia." And I was coming to the end of my deal, and I was like, "Well, I think if you're leaving, I'll probably go independent now as well." So that we're you know, we're both kind of out of it now, so it feels kind of right. Do you know what I mean? Because I just felt like if I don't have that person anymore, then
key man, as they used to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need your sort of guy in the corner, and if you ain't got that, then Yeah.
They used to have that in the contracts, in the keyman clause.
Yeah.
Like if your A&R guy left, you
Yeah.
could get out of the deal.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But and importantly, because they're the guy who signed you, because if the new guy comes in, he doesn't like your music so much.
Exactly.
You get sidestepped and put to the side, and
Exactly.
I think it's always good to have a keyman. Anybody listening out there, keyman clause.
Yeah, you need it.
That guy who signed you, keep him on board, and if he goes, you can go.
Yeah.
So then you do Human, and you did that with Jamie Hartman, who's a friend of mine, actually.
Yeah.
I know Jamie for years.
Do you?
And we go back a long way.
I spoke to him on the phone the other day, actually. We're going to get together and write a couple of tunes.
Tell him I said hi. He's really good friends with a friend of mine in America called Jeff Cohen, who's a great songwriter, and they're really good friends.
Yeah.
And, but I've known Jamie for years, maybe 15 years.
Jamie is a very, very good songwriter, and also just understands the process and not like getting in the way of stuff.
Sure.
You know, he's not like controlling in a room. And if it wasn't for Jamie, I wouldn't have had Human, and I'd probably still be playing to 1,000 people at Scala or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You know, maybe not. But that was my foot in the door.
Sure, and everybody needs that track.
You know, so. And he's very good at hooks. It's exactly the same as what we did with Giant, you know. And he came in and he had the chorus for Human already, and I can't take credit for it because he had it. He was like, "I've got this chorus. What do you think?" And I'm like, "That sounds pretty good to me."
And that's with Calvin Harris, wasn't it?
Let's write I sat down and wrote all the verses and the middle eight and stuff like that. But he's the man that comes up with the hook, which was great at the time.
And that was the Giant was with Calvin Harris, wasn't it?
Giant was with Calvin Harris.
That was a huge track.
Well, Giant was actually meant to go on the Human record. Me and Jamie wrote that like 2015 or something.
Right.
And it just never got produced quite right. We tried it 3 or 4 different ways. Didn't quite work out. And then Julian sent it over to Calvin. And then one day in 2018, Calvin sent it to me and said, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "I didn't even know you had it." With all the horns and stuff on it, and I was like, "We've got to just put it out, see what happens."
So after Human, the single, so was there? Did you have an album, or was there a scramble to find new songs?
Well, that's the thing. I listen to the Human album now, and I like it, but there's parts of it that I feel were thrown together because it was a little bit, in a way. There are songs on there that are all over the shot, so it's like stuff that I wrote in like 2012, 2013, and then stuff that I wrote a bit more closer to the sort of kind of release time of Human. So it sort of felt like a collection of songs rather than a sort of cohesive album, I guess.
And the next record felt much more like a cohesive album to my ears, Life by Misadventure.
Yeah, it was, because most of that was just written in my garden, in my little shed studio at the end, and then some of it at Mark's place in Wimbledon. And then we went out to Nashville to record it live, with players, which was just so good.
And you only had a very limited time to do it, though, wasn't it? I think that was during COVID or something.
It was when they announced COVID, basically. We just got to Nashville. We had 3 weeks to make the record, but we had to, stay away from people for like 12 days of that 3 weeks.
Jesus.
So we had, it was me, my bass player, Bill Banwell, Ben Jackson Cook, who I've written quite a lot of songs with, Mike Elizondo, who's a producer, Daru Jones on drums, who's fucking phenomenal, and Wendy Melvin from Prince's band,
brilliant,
playing guitar. She couldn't come because she was in LA and COVID and stuff, but she did all of her parts. But we basically played it live in the room and recorded the whole record in like 5 days.
Wow. And it feels like a band.
Yeah,
that album feels like a band to me. Where, to be honest, of course, the hit Human is hugely important to any artist. You had that track that went into the public consciousness. It's the one that everybody dreams of, and you had it. But as an album, I'll be honest, I think that album is a stronger record as something to listen to from start to finish. Like I was listening to all of your records getting prepared for this, and I found that one much more of a journey for me, much more, it fit the mood of it, everything about it felt thought through.
Well, I think it's because I had that time to do that, do you know what I mean? And the time and the freedom to just sit and figure out, what each where each song goes and what everything means and how it's put together. So,
because you never really let them sort of talk you into doing the writing circuit, because you've never been one of those guys who've gone in with like loads of different writing teams.
Yeah, I've got probably like 5 people that I can sort of call upon to do different things. You know, like I write with Jamie Hartman, Simon Aldred, who's was in Cherry Ghost. You know,
yeah, of course.
People Help the People, one of the greatest songs ever. He is an amazing writer, and then Mark. And you know, that's really kind of it. Like not that many writers really. It's because I did that kind of circuit for about a week, and I wrote with lots of different people. And then I called Julian and I said, "I'm really sorry, mate, but this is not a bit of me." I was like, "Well, I just need to find those key people, and then we'll be good."
Well, you start getting pulled from pillar to post, that they said, even emotionally and also direction-wise.
Yeah.
A lot of writers are producers as well.
Yeah.
So you should be going this way, you should be going that way.
Yeah,
All of a
and
sudden,
you also
everything gets pulled everywhere.
You have sort of people with their own sort of agenda of, you know, this is where they think you should be, or what kind of song that they think you should write. And you kind of go in with your own ideas, and then suddenly you've sung someone else's song. And, you know, and I've always been in that mindset of, I can't stand there on stage and sing you a song that I don't know what it's about because it's someone else's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't portray that emotion. I can't give you that much of myself when the song actually doesn't mean anything.
Going back to the Calvin Harris track, because that was a little bit of a diversion in the sense of Calvin Harris, a dance guy. So were you at all concerned about, they start wanting you to feature on lots of big records, or starting to get that dance thing going on all your records?
Well, the thing is, I've been approached a lot around that time to do dance records, and I said no to everything because I just didn't really feel like that was right for me at the time. But because the Human album had sort of come to an end in terms of its sort of cycle of promotion and all that sort of stuff. And I heard the Calvin song, and there was one bit of me that said to my tour manager one day, I played it to him and I was like, I don't know about this. I was like, it's so far out of what I've been doing. And he was like, it doesn't matter, mate, because your voice is the thing on it that it still makes it you. And he was like, you know, he said, you've got to put it out. He's like, it's an absolute banger. And I'm so glad that I did at the time, because having that song in my arsenal now to play live, it's golden.
It's, I mean, that's the thing about having the hits, as I said, we were saying from the very beginning. Without them, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, even live, because...
Well, it isn't at certain gigs, you know, like I do Montreux Jazz Festival and like North Sea and stuff like that, and the gigs where people were there to listen to music and they're not there to either just get pissed or just have a dance to anything that's being played kind of thing. Mm-hmm. The music festivals, you can kind of go out and play, you know, more obscure songs or, you know, different arrangements of stuff like that.
People kind of like that.
But then, like when you're going out and playing like Reading or, you know, Isle of Wight Festival, people want to hear those songs.
Yeah, they can resonate.
And when you've got them, like you've got the Giants to play or whatever, and then it really does help.
So, I mean, as a writer, do you write with the intention? Do you write from a hook out, or do you write just a narrative?
I don't have a way, to be honest. I always start with words anyway, to be honest. Most of the time, it's something that I've come up with at 3 o'clock in the morning. Whether it's just a sentence or a few words or whatever, I just start with that. And then I try and figure out what it's about.
And this is something Jamie's really good at, as you said, Jamie Hartman. He's great with the hooks, isn't he?
That's the thing. That's exactly the same. With Human and with Giant, they're the same. He's like, I've got these really great hooks or what I think are really great. How are you going to build around it kind of thing, you know?
So the next record, the latest record, What Do You Believe In? So obviously the record before that, you were co-producing that with your keyboard player and with Ben, is it?
Yeah.
And the other chap as well, the writer, producer.
Mike Elizondo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you guys produced the record together, and so next record, there's a mixture of different producers. Was that what particular mindset was that?
Yeah, it's a mixture, but it's because I had the sound. I did this one song called The Right Way with Jamie Liddell, and it just had this like, it's very hip hop, but also it sounds like a sample of something kind of 70s.
Something from Marvin Gaye or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or like stylistics or something like, because the little harmony parts.
Sure.
And that was like, I really like the way that we didn't use a sample, but we created a sample and kind of made it that way. And I said to Julian Palmer, like, this is the sound that I really want to create for this record. Who could you put me in touch with that can figure that out, and who'll know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, there's this guy called Oakfelder. He was like he worked on a lot of like early Alicia Keys stuff. He knows soul music. He's like, he'll be the guy. So I met up with those guys, wrote a song called What Do You Believe In? And that for me was the sound that I was after. So he produced like half the record basically. And then there was a few others produced by Mark Crew, who's like my, original guy, and one or two by Johnny Coffer.
Sure.
But like at that time, I had that sound in mind. There's maybe one or two songs that kind of go out of that, but most of it has this kind of sample sound.
It sounded to me like a cross between new school and old school.
Yeah, exactly.
But didn't sound neo soul.
No.
And I think that worked, because that's a tricky one. It can age quite. It's a difficult one.
Yeah, you don't want to be.
Thing.
I don't want it to feel pastiche. Of like, I don't want it to sound like, we tried to make a Music Soul Child album, or we tried to make a D'Angelo album, or something like that, because that's never going to sound right.
And you brought the gospel into it as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of gospel
exactly.
in that record.
There is.
Which had the big choruses.
I'm really happy with that record.
I
listened to it back, and I'm proud of it. I think I did some good writing on that record.
So when you tour a huge amount, and you've been touring literally since 2015, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, the only time I've had a year where I didn't tour was COVID, when we couldn't. Yeah, so my plan is, I keep telling my wife that I'm going to have some time off.
That old chestnut.
And we've had consistently done like 70 plus gigs a year.
You're not fooling anyone.
So I haven't taken any bookings for next year, because I promised my boys that I would try to be at home and spend some time with them, because they're getting to that age where they really do miss me, and I find it so hard when I'm away and talking to them.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I just need to be on the ground for a bit, and I could do with getting in the studio again anyway.
But you're an artist who's born to sing live. What you do, what you have in your arsenal, like you as I said in the very beginning of the conversation, is that you have that emotional and technical ability to connect, which is more difficult thing than people think, especially in the live scenario, where you can pull that out of the bag to really get the emotional connection going with the audience. And it is power, but I know you have the sensitivity as well. And that's why I love your voice from the beginning, because you've got the kind of the gospel approach, rock approach, maybe even at sometimes, where you can really belt it out. You've got the third gear, as I like to call it. You can kick into, and that's when you notice with the audience, oh my God, he's hit us with the, that big, powerful note, which kind of is, it's kind of a visceral thing. It's quite, you know what I mean? It's just that instinctive belter, which I missed for years with the new singers coming through at falsetto, hitting every. It drove me crazy. It's like, go for the note, man. Reach. You're always reaching, and I find that personally very attractive in a singer. And all my heroes like Otis Redding, and that's why I was very intrigued by your early years and what you were listening to, because that makes perfect sense. Howling Wolf, and then all the other soul singers that came, even Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, man.
So all of a sudden, as I said, you're that new breed of singer, and at the very beginning of it. And I salute Julian Palmer for seeing it in you and kind of giving you, the break to be what you could be. Man. And so, EastEnders. I know you're a fan, and you were on EastEnders.
I was.
For anyone out there who doesn't know, EastEnders, huge show in England, in the UK, massive show.
Yeah, I watched it from when I was, little. We used to watch it with my mum all the time, and it was always a joke at the label where I was like, "When are you going to get me on EastEnders? When are you going to get me on EastEnders? You could get me a little part or whatever." And then suddenly, year before last, they called and said, "Oh, would Rory be interested in doing a Christmas show on EastEnders and come and sing a song?" And I was like, "How's that going to work?" And I was actually part of an episode, and not only that, they wanted me to come back and do a speaking part, which was honestly pretty awful. It's slightly embarrassing, but at the same time, it was fun.
It wasn't with Danny Dyer, was it?
It wasn't with Danny Dyer, unfortunately.
But that was at the Old Vic. You kind of did a performance at the Old Vic.
Yeah.
It's iconic. It's very fun.
It was really fun. It was a great day.
So I ask everybody this: so being a performer, best show, worst show. A fun worst show where everything just went wrong. Best show where you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is actually happening.
Well, let me see. I can tell you, do you know what? The other night I played Thetford Forest, and the show was down originally to be 4,000 or 5,000 people, but the tickets sold out super quick. So they just said, look, we've got the option of making it like double. So it was ended up being like 9,000, and I was like, we're not going to sell that out, but you might as well try. And it was packed. It was absolutely as far as you could see. And I always say, like, it's all about the energy that they give me. And I'm not like I'll never like push the envelope on a gig. I'm not just going to go and just go and do it half-heartedly. But there is something about when they give that amount of energy and that amount of love to you that just makes you feel comfortable and just, do you know what I mean, able to give that extra 10%. And that was one of those gigs where, the energy of the crowd just
It's a wave that goes backwards and forwards. I've spoken about this before, and people think it's like it's some corny nonsense, but it's a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
that energy that goes from you out to them, and it comes back, and it goes out, and it goes back, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
even and when artists know this weird language.
Even when I'm playing songs that I know that you don't really know that song, but just the applause afterwards is amazing. That's one of the best. One of the worst, I can pick from a few. But we played 2017. We played at the Capital Summer Ball at Wembley, and it's funny because I've just seen the stuff with Lola Young playing the same gig, and trust me, it is difficult in that setting. The slap back and all of the sound problems that they have in that arena, it's not that fun. But like, we'd done a festival in Brighton called Wildlife. We had to get on a helicopter across to Wembley to get there in time to do the gig. And just as I was going on, my in-ears pack went down, so I couldn't hear anything.
Bloody hell.
My drummers went down. He was panicking like hell. And then they have this rising front that comes up to reveal you, right?
Sure.
It got stuck halfway. So you could just see everyone's feet. And it's just it was a bad start to a gig, and it put me on edge.
Right, of course.
We only had to do 3 or 4 songs. It was a really short thing, like 20 minutes.
Right.
But for the whole gig, I was just on edge.
Right.
And you could see, I watched a little bit of the video back, and I'm just really like, for the whole thing.
Not seeing the funny side of it at the time.
No, not at all. And my first ever time doing a stadium as well, so.
Has your relationship with music changed since you've had a family?
Relationship, it's changed.
How you view everything, from the musical side, from the business side? My writing's changed because I'm vastly more emotional as a person nowadays. I'll cry at the most stupid stuff. In the business side of things, like, I still want to do a lot, but in my back of my mind, it's like, are my children missing out? Sure, of course.
When I'm away, like, I'm away a lot this summer. In the back of my mind, I'm like, are they missing out?
Do you not take them with you on the tour?
Yeah, certain places, but bringing them on a tour bus is not ideal.
Would you encourage them to be in the music industry if they wanted to be?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the music industry is a different place to when I first started, but yeah, if that's what they want, then hell yeah.
Yeah, well, I suppose you'd have the advice to give them and what to watch.
Yeah.
It's about having your kind of little gang, haven't you?
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
I was talking to some of the other artists, like Nadia, this young artist that came along. You know, I don't know if you Louds London. Have you heard?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're kind of unionised. You know, the ladies have unionised, and it's great because they've got a support network. You know what I mean, to back each other up. And they got a problem with whether it's business. Hey, I've just been offered this. What do you think?
Yeah, it's almost like a music cooperative.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
No, it's a great idea.
You need your gang, don't you?
It's a great idea.
You know, being on your own is tough. You know what I mean? If you're out there on your own, you don't have anybody
because the way the music industry is now, you don't necessarily need or want a record label. You might need services, distribution and stuff like that, but for the most part, the best place to be now is independent.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Just use the majors for distribution.
And it's actually great. I think it's going to be great for the music industry as a whole. I think we're going to get a lot of more interesting music out of that, about a lot of artists coming through being independent.
Well, it's label services out now, isn't it? It's like you make the record yourself and you just use label services, distribute and whatever, do all their bits, but they don't own you. No. There's no one telling you what to do day to day. And there's a responsibility that comes with that then. You know, you can't blame anyone if it goes wrong.
No, exactly.
And I think that will resonate properly with artists. You know what, that's okay. I'll take the responsibility on that. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But, you know, the infrastructure's there to you know, it's down to you. At the end of the day, it comes down to songs. You know, have you got the voice, which someone like yourself obviously does, in a huge way. But have you got the tunes? It always comes down to the tunes. And production's production. You know, it can go this way, go that way. I've heard many records that I felt, you know, you look at them back at them and think, it wasn't such a great record sounding, but the songs are amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that will always win through. So are you continuously writing, or is it something you dip in and out of?
I write all the time. I mean, I have a guitar backstage when I'm on tour, and I write little songs here, there, and everywhere, really. But at the moment, I'm not in that mindset of I want to write an album. I'm just going to write songs, whether they're for me or for other people or whatever they are. I might put some stuff out. I've got a few collaborations in the pipeline, but at the moment, I just want to get this summer kind of done and then be with my boys. And that's the most important thing for me at the moment.
So if there was an artist alive or dead you could collab with, who would it be?
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah. I'd just like to know the process, man. You know, because his career is so mad. And like, if you look through the back catalogue, it's so different from all the different eras of Prince. It's like I wouldn't even want to be involved. I just want to watch it.
I actually bought Parade on CD, and it was like only when CDs actually were first coming out. You went to the record store, there's like 5 CDs. I'm giving away my age here, and it was like there was 5, and I just got a CD player, and that's when everyone was getting rid of their vinyl as well. But it was like it was Prince, and it was that cover, and it was Parade. I just thought that record still is amazing to this day. That's still one of my favourite Prince records. Yeah. There's so many killer tunes on it. It's really sad, though, how he died on his own in a lift. You know what I mean? I just thought someone of such incredible breadth as an artist and in every way. Did you ever see him live?
Never.
Yeah, me neither. I knew he was a makeup artist, but she didn't invite me to the show, which I was gutted about. One of those artists I would have loved to have seen, you know. Great guitar player as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Because you play guitar, don't you?
I do, but I'm a bit of a caveman guitarist, to be honest. I play a little bit. I only really learned guitar to play a few blues tunes, and then I learned a bit more when I started writing songs. It was more a tool to write with.
Right.
You know.
And the next record, are you working on it as we speak?
I'm not really in that mindset at the moment. I don't really know what I want to do next.
You think you might revisit your hip hop roots, maybe?
I don't know. I mean, I've got tunes like that in sitting on the laptop,
right?
That I've yet to put out. So I'm not one of these people who are like, I'll leave stuff in the past, because I would put stuff like that out. It's just the right time. I don't know yet. I don't know how I feel about what the next thing is going to be. So I'll figure that out
as it comes. Yeah. So no MCing for maybe.
No. Yeah. Not at the moment.
Anybody at the moment you're listening to, new artists that have come out that excite you?
Yeah, there's a guy called Citizen Peeps who I really like at the moment. I love Olivia Dean. I know she's not new, but Olivia Dean is really great. I really like Lola Young as well. I think she's amazing, and I hate the amount of hate and stick she's getting.
Right.
Really, I really don't like it. Like, you know, it seems like she doesn't give a which is nice.
Right.
But yeah, I hear the way she writes songs and stuff, and I think, yeah, she's very talented.
And like, what was the last record you listened to, like today? Did you listen to anything this morning when you got up?
Did I? I listened to the Radiohead album.
Which one?
It came out a few years ago. Moonshaped Pool. That's it. Yeah.
It's one of my favourite Radiohead albums. I play that every day.
They never learn.
It's beautiful chords, man. That's the perfect morning record.
It's that sort of music that calms me.
Me too.
When I have I'm not an anxious person, but I get anxiety when I'm in airports and really busy places these days. Mainly because of selfie culture, and I'm like, if one person comes up to me, then it's like a barrage of people. So I try and find a corner somewhere to sort of sit by myself, and those are the sort of records that kind of save me in those situations. Do you know what I mean? I'm very thankful to Tom York for that.
You want to sit in airports now. Funny enough, I went on the plane the other day. It's a little bit dark, but I was like, you know, you're choosing your seat. Because I travel so much as well, I got priority boarding. I was like, maybe I go for 11A.
Yeah.
By the door. Just in case.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, that sounds like a good bet, 11A, you know? But that guy recently, you know, that was his seat. Yeah. 11A. I just, oh my God, you know, how lucky was him. But I could have started getting slightly paranoid about traveling. And like, you just never know, you know what I mean? You fly so much, as you do, you know?
Yeah.
If you could, and you can say no if you want to, but could you play us something on the guitar? Like one song, it'd be amazing. And from past or present or the future, it would be fantastic, please.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rory. Good Irish name, by the way, as well.
Scottish, but gay. It's all gay.
Yeah, we'll take it. It's Celtic.
It's fine.
Let's call it Celtic.
Fuck knows what I'm going to play.
Thanks for this, Roy. This is fantastic. Thank you, man.
Got it.
Marcel, you ready?
We're good. Good see.
Everybody, so
Yeah, good to go.
Quiet in the room, please.
You've been drinking red wine like it's water. The corky makes it hard for me to see. We show me somewhere in the middle. Yes, some solid ground beneath our feet. Know if I leave, that I'll return. But you should never give me up, 'cause old habits die hard. Used to have polite conversation without the use of mind-altering drugs. But run out of things to say or lost the patience. That don't mean we fell out of love. No, if I leave, that I'll return. But you should never give me up, 'cause old habits die hard. I don't know the rest.
Wow, country. It's beautiful, dude. Thank you so much, Rory.
I usually have a capo up there as well, so it's a bit low for me, but...
Has anyone got a mobile I can use? Can't see it.
Have you got a mobile I can use for yourself?
No to větra, aspoň.
Vyvop, yes, vyvop. Great, super. Oh, great, now. Nevadí, dneska bude třikrát silnější. Tak. Okay, now, great. Thank you very much.